For more information on our top stories and others, do visit our website, channelstv.com. youtube.com/channelsweb has videos of all our shows. Ministers and cabinet members are critical to achieving the president's strategic policies, and the process of setting up the cabinet is what the Senate kicked off today by screening the list of ministerial nominees. After about 7 hours of screening, the lawmakers successfully screened 10 out of the 43 nominees. While 4 of them were made to respond to questions from the senators, 6 did not answer any questions, as the lawmakers maintained the tradition of allowing former National Assembly members to take a bow when they are nominated for ministerial positions. Our correspondent Terry Kumi reports.
It's a day after President Muhammadu Buhari submitted a ministerial list of 43 nominees to the Senate for confirmation.
Under Order 43.
Just before the nominees are called in, the senator representing the Federal Capital Territory, Philip Aduda, raises a constitutional point of order over the exclusion of the FCT from the list.
My constituents have asked me to come with a loud voice to say that this National Assembly is the State House of Assembly for the people of the FCT, and as such, they are depending on the National Assembly to help and ensure that there's equity for the people of the FCT.
This is an executive function, and you have made the point very loudly, to borrow your word, and I'm sure the executive will take the appropriate action as quickly as possible.
After the dust settles, the nominees are ushered in one after the other. With no portfolios attached to the nominees, the senators pose questions speculatively.
Our economy is a monocultural economy, and the only way we can reduce our dependence on oil is to diversify it by going into agriculture, solid minerals, and manufacturing. What, in your opinion, can the government do to succeed in the diversification of the Nigerian economy?
We do not need to concentrate most of our industries in the urban areas. We need to create industrialization in most of the rural areas, thereby creating teeming population for the regions. We don't need to depend on only oil. Yes, oil is a cash cow, but I believe that if we develop our agriculture sector, we can equally develop, create jobs and for our teeming youth.
Vice Chancellor can be appointed from anywhere. That's how it used to be before. But now, University in Bauchi will make sure that somebody from Bauchi becomes the Vice Chancellor. University in Owerri will make sure that Owerri man or people from the South becomes the Vice Chancellor. That has become very current now, and that is not what it's supposed to be. What's your position on it?
I know what he means, because I'm always under pressure by people insisting that the Vice Chancellor must be somebody from their area. Unfortunately, this is no longer in the hands of the university, in the hands of the ministry, because since the time the universities fought for autonomy and they got it, I think even the president has no hand in the election or selection of Vice Chancellor. I think the process is clear enough. When there is a vacancy, it is advertised, people apply, and then they are called for interview, and the University Council selects the Vice Chancellor. Before, they used to select 3, so that they would send it to the minister would send it to the president for selection. Now it is just for our information.
Some nominees with legislative backgrounds are given the traditional take a bow and go advantage without any questions from the lawmakers. The last nominee of the day is a woman. She is handed a special advantage based on gender.
We as women, we organized rallies, protest marches in Abuja, protesting that plane crash. But what was the consequence for action? Nothing. Nothing happened. So I now felt I needed a platform where my voice would be heard to fight social injustice.
Having screened 10 of the 43 nominees on the first day, the Senate is reiterating its position to ensure that it screens all the nominees before embarking on its long break, even if it means extending sitting to Friday, which is a non-sitting day for the Senate. Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
To take another look at today's screening, I'm being joined live from Abuja by the Director, African Center for Parliamentary and Constitutional Studies, Mr. Emmanuel Anyebunam. Thanks a lot for joining us on the news at 10. And
thank you so much.
Thank you. Finally, we see this process has begun after waiting for about 2 months for that list. Looking at those who have been nominated, what do you think, bearing in mind the President's plan for the next level agenda and this set of people that have come forward? What do you think?
Well, actually, if you look at the team as a whole, we have basically most of them, half of them who were part of the administration. Then there are few other new entrants. On my own setting, one we feel that, well, though some new entrants have to be taken better, with the expectation of the people and my own expectation anyway, I would have expected to see a newer, vibrant and dynamic team. But all the same, is a presidential system, like I have always said, based on the Constitution section 147, subsection 1. He establishes and he takes the discretion over what his team will be. And he has the right also to reassign them, establish the office, fire them, or reassign them, or do whatever he has, because it's an executive discretion. So that is it.
Yeah, but, you know, the process didn't go without a bit of resistance you saw on the floor there. If you watch the process, you know, from those who felt that returning lawmakers shouldn't just take a bow and go. They should actually be questioned, you know, since they're going to be in different places. Where do you stand on that? Should they have been asked any questions?
Well, if you take a look at the Constitution, Section 60 basically gives the Senate or the House of Representatives the constitutional power to regulate his procedures, recess, and any other procedure. Then if you also go to item 47 of the exclusive list, it talks about the powers of the National Assembly, privileges and immunities of its members. They are operating under the House Powers and Privileges Act. And in the Privileges Act, it talks about the power of the National Assembly or the legislature to have its immunities in order to perform its responsibilities. So based on this, when we talk of immunity, we are talking of being immunized from ordinary customary prevention of the law. In this issue, there is practice, there is precedent, there is convention, which they have come to by custom and usage, that former legislators will normally, from 1999 to date, take a bow and leave. So it is within their discretion to do that, based on constitutional and statutory powers, and then along with practice and their usage. So it is not really in doubt to say that. So since they have taken that decision, no other person has to do that. To question that, you cannot even do it in a court of law, because there are judicial precedents, starting from the case of Ezoke and McCarthy, as well as National Senate and Tony Momo in Second Republic. So basically, it is within the jurisdiction of the Senate to say this is how we regulate ourselves, and having established this convention or tradition.
Yes, Mr. Anyebunam, I know you've talked about the fact that it's within their jurisdiction and there's precedence for it. But remember that we're supposed to be going to the next level and doing things differently. But even again, we saw the list there with no accompanying portfolios. And even listening to the line of questioning, I mean, yes, they were questioned, but you didn't see targeted questionings because we don't know where they're going to be. What's your opinion about that? Not talking about presidents, and that's what's been done in the past before. Should it continue to be like that?
Personally, I have consistently been against the issue of presenting nominees without a portfolio, because no ship, no wind runs in favor of a ship without a destination. You must have a destination, because this is public policy. and then those who are coming on board, for us to have probity and basic understanding and participation. The designated portfolio has to be there. And we are still clamoring on this. Since 1999 till now, we thought that the change and the expected next level would have been accompanied by the people having where they are heading to. The guesswork over this screening is still a problem or a lacuna, which we believe that will be solved by what? Assigning portfolio to them, and as soon as possible. We just seen the example with Boris Johnson in Britain. Coming in immediately within 24 hours, he has his cabinet members named. So we expect this from henceforth, that this portfolio should be assigned. And more particularly, when we are having almost half of the ministers coming back, are they going back for another 4 years within the same ministries, which they may end up inimically as entrenched principalities? So these are the issues that will now come to the public burner. Like I said, it is participation, it is rule of law, and it is constitutionalism. So that is the issue. I expected at least that the portfolio should have followed to make this more meaningful and proactive to the public.
All right, Director for Parliamentary Studies, Emmanuel Anyebunam, thanks a lot for joining us and sharing your thoughts on the news at 10 tonight.
Thank you so much.